And another equally satisfying part of my journey, I would say, is mentoring the young laboratory professionals, watching them grow into confident scientists and leaders gives me immense satisfaction. For me, building people is just as important as building systems. So today, automation, molecular diagnostics, artificial intelligence, and digital laboratory systems have significantly improved the speed, accuracy, efficiency of testing. But beyond technology, I think the role of laboratories is also changed. Earlier, laboratory mainly focused on just releasing reports, but then today we don't do that alone. We expect to provide clinically meaningful information to the clinician, help the doctor make better decisions, better treatment decisions, better diagnosis.
Athenese-Dx has been involved in the validation with help of you, and we have taken a lot of feedbacks from you for our product development. So how did this collaboration begin with, and what is your input in this?
So our interaction actually began through scientific discussions during the evaluation of molecular diagnostic assays. And the objective was to independently assess the analytical performance of the product and provide evidence-based feedback before wider implementation. From the beginning, the discussions were scientific, transparent, and focused on continuous improvement.
Vanakkam, Namaste, and welcome back to Lab Leaders Unplugged. Real insights, real conversations, and real impact. Today, I'm honored to host a guest who holds a very responsible position in a very reputed institute. She has served over a decade ensuring that reports are not only released, but they are released with utmost responsibility, scientific accuracy, and with uncompromised quality. Under her, more than 3 lakh molecular samples and the NABL accreditation has been done. I'm talking about none other but Dr. R. Lakshmi Priya, Chief of Laboratory, Senior Consultant, and the Microbiologist, Lister Metropolis. So let me welcome her without any further delay. Thank you, ma'am, for coming to this podcast and giving your valuable time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I am so excited to be a part of the Lab Leaders Unplugged show.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you please brief me your journey?
So, my journey started with a simple curiosity about the infectious diseases and how laboratory can help the clinician to rule out, a diagnosis or come to a diagnosis as such. So, as I gained experience, I realized that laboratory medicine is much more than just identifying microorganisms. It's about building reliable systems, maintaining quality, introducing new technologies, and ensuring every report can be trusted. Over the years, I had the opportunity to establish and strengthen our molecular laboratory, which has processed more than over 3 lakh samples, as you rightly mentioned. That journey taught me that technology alone doesn't build a good laboratory. It requires quality, teamwork, and continuous learning. Do even today, I believe there is something new to learn every day.
Yes, ma'am, as you rightly mentioned that we every day have something new to learn. But my curiosity is to know that what was your curiosity to start with microbiology in your education?
What fascinated me the most was the things which are invisible to the naked eye, how they could change a person's life, how could it cause infection, or it can affect the person's health, and how the laboratory is able to identify that particular organism with such precision. So every culture plate, every microscopic slide that we see, or a molecular test that perform was like solving a puzzle or a mystery, I would say. Each result helped to give an answer for the clinician to come to a diagnosis. So as I started working in laboratories, I realized that behind every sample, there is a patient waiting for the report or for a right diagnosis to be obtained. That understanding changed my entire perspective completely. and made microbiology more than just a subject, but it became my responsibility.
Yes, as you mentioned that like the patient wait is there for a right report. So, like from a microbiology, how you diverted to the molecular expert or the laboratory expert?
Um, I wouldn't say that that was just one particular moment that made me do that. It was just experience over many years that I had changed my field to this. Every accurate report builds a clinician confidence, while even a small error can affect the patient's outcome. So this made me realize that quality cannot be limited just to audits or
Mm-hmm.
documentations that we do. It has to be entire laboratory culture that has to be made behind it. So and also during this COVID pandemic, this reinforced in me even more further. So despite handling an enormous workload, there was no room for error in that laboratory. So it just reminded us that quality is not something we do occasionally, it is something we practice every single day in our lab.
So, practicing the quality takes a lot of effort, and I know for this you have to accomplish a multiple role at the same time. So, my question is like, how do you balance being a scientist, being a laboratory leader, and the mentor, like who has under your guidance given so many processed the samples?
For me, I don't think these are three different roles. For me, I think that they complement each other. So, as a scientist, I focus on understanding the science behind every test. As a laboratory leader, my responsibility is to build systems that deliver consistent quality. And as a mentor, I believe in sharing their knowledge and helping the young professionals to grow more in their field. And technology can always be upgraded, see, but skilled people and strong quality culture will take a long time to grow. And we have to give the time to them, and I enjoy spending time with my team, discussing cases and solving problems together, and encourage them to think scientifically rather than simply following the procedures.
Right. So, as you mentioned that you encourage your team to do a lot of correlation and something. So, I believe during the entire period of diagnosis in last 10 years, the COVID pandemic was the most critical phase.
Correct.
So, if you have to give any of your experience or your major lessons from that time, what would be that thing that you would like to say?
So, COVID changed the laboratory medicine in many ways, I would say. So, it showed us how quickly we need to adapt to the new technology and how important preparedness is required. And molecular testing was done in almost many places. And then automation, we needed strong quality systems. And all the healthcare professionals came together during those COVID times. So, at the same time, it reminded that laboratories are no longer just support services. They were like playing a very critical role in patient care and also public health. So personally, it also reinforced the importance of teamwork in us, because
Mm.
during COVID, no individual could succeed alone. It was a
Right.
complete teamwork, I would say, and it was a combined effort of laboratory professional, healthcare professionals, hospitals, clinicians, and it all helped us to overcome the biggest pandemic we have ever seen in our life.
That's true. That's true. So, if we have to reflect back on this, what would you say this was my greatest achievement?
One of my greatest achievement or satisfaction rather is building laboratory systems that consistently deliver the reliable results. So every accurate report that is being released, it helps the clinician make the right decision, and knowing that our work directly impacts patient care is truly fulfilling for me. And another equally satisfying part of my journey, I would say, is mentoring the young laboratory professionals, watching them grow into confident scientists and leaders gives me immense satisfaction. For me, building people is just as important as building systems.
Right. So, ma'am, correctly mentioned that building a people is more important because they will be the future of the diagnosis. But we have also seen that diagnosis is changing tremendously and in a very fast pace. So, from your perspective, what do you think that was the biggest change or the transformation that the diagnostic industry show?
I would say the biggest transformation has been the shift of diagnosis towards precision diagnostics. So, today, automation, molecular diagnostics, artificial intelligence, and digital laboratory systems have significantly improved the speed, accuracy, efficiency of testing. But beyond technology, I think the role of laboratories has also changed. Earlier, laboratory mainly focused on just releasing reports,
Hmm.
but then today we don't do that alone. We expect to provide clinically meaningful information to the clinicians that helps the doctor make better decisions, better treatment decisions, better diagnosis. So this is a remarkable transformation, I would say.
Okay, ma'am, as you are from you have the experience of a very wide spectrum of the diagnostic from molecular biology and microbiology, then biochemistry, everything. So I would like to know, like every department have a very different role. So how they do complement each other?
So I would rather say no department works in isolation. So you take hematology, biochemistry, microbiology, molecular biology, or histopathology, name it. They'll have to marry each other. They are different pieces of a puzzle, which is helping a clinician come to a diagnosis. So each one have to interact each other and then come to a diagnosis, or each report has to be interpreted together so that the clinician can come to a proper diagnosis. That is why collaboration between departments is very important. The strength of a modern laboratory lies in how well each department collaborates and communicates with each other
Hmm.
to come to the single goal of ours, that is the better patient outcome.
That's rightly mentioned that it is the better patient outcome. But what I see is the trend is shifting towards the TAT also. And in the molecular perspective, I see we have come a lot far from the culture, doing the culture to the RT-PCR. So why it is said that molecular is becoming so powerful and it is called as the future of diagnostics?
So, molecular diagnostics has changed the way we diagnose diseases because it allows us to detect pathogens and genetic changes in a very precise and very highly sensitive and specific way, often much earlier than the conventional methods.
Right.
Beyond diagnosis, it also plays an important role in targeted therapy, disease monitoring, and also personalized medicine. As healthcare continues to move towards precision medicine, molecular diagnosis is no longer a specialist test. It is going to be like a essential part of a routine clinical practice, and I believe its role will continue to grow in its coming days.
That's good to hear, ma'am. So we also hear that a report is only as good as a sample. So my question is like when we hear this statement, why we consider that pre-analytical performance or the testing is very crucial?
See, as you rightly said, the laboratory is only as good as the sample it receives. So even the most advanced technology cannot compensate for poor samples that has been received inside the lab, or incorrect patient identification, or improper storage, or transport issues that we get from the samples from the pre-analytical part. So good pre-analytical part helps reduce errors, avoid repeat testing, repeat sampling from the patients. It also improves the turnaround time, and most importantly, it ensures the patient safety of the reports that we release.
Okay, so apart from this thing, as you mentioned, that handling is also a part. So what are the uh, crucial steps that has to be taken care for handling a molecular sample?
So, like you rightly said, the most common mistake happens with the sample even before the sample reaches the analyzer. Like it can be due to improper sample collection, improper temperature in which it is transported, or there is a leak in the sample, or improper sample identification, or repeated freezing and thawing cycles. So, all these impact the final result of the sample. So, since molecular tests are very highly sensitive, and even a small error can make a big difference in the report outcome. So, that's why following SOPs, that is standard operating procedures, is very important. Regular staff trainings has to be done, and we'll have to continuously monitoring whether the staff training and the outcome is proper. Prevention is always better than a troubleshooting of the sample that has been done.
Correct, correct. Correctly mentioned. So, ma'am, all these things definitely makes good practices, and a good practices make a good laboratory. But still, there is that borderline between a good laboratory and a truly exceptional laboratory. So, what is that gap?
Correct. So, a good laboratory is something which delivers accurate reports. But then an exceptional laboratory will go a step further, and it builds trusts. So, I would say the trust comes just not very easily. It comes with consistency, a strong quality culture, continuous improvement, and transparent communication with the clinicians. So, accreditation is important, but I would say true excellence is reflected in how the laboratory performs every single day, and how it gives confidence to the clinicians, and the clinician can rely on the reports that we are releasing.
Sure. So my next question is that as the transformation is in the trend, and change is too fast, and we are getting adopted with the artificial intelligence, so the artificial intelligence is also entering into the diagnosis. So where do you see that AI is going to add value in our day-to-day reporting, or making the diagnostics a little more advanced with the better outcomes?
Correct. So, AI is going to play a very significant role in the laboratory setup. It can help improve the workflow, support report interpretations. It can monitor quality, and even it can identify patterns that may otherwise be missed by a doctor. But then, having said all of that, never, I would say, AI can replace a laboratory professional. It should complement our work, but it can never replace us, or the laboratory's expertise. It can never replace. So, clinical judgment, scientific reasoning, and responsibility for the patient care will always remain with the trained professional, and AI can never replace that.
Okay. So as you mentioned that the skilled set will never get replaced with the AI, and the skill sets are only with the hand practices. And what I believe, like, if we have to give the systematic sets of good laboratory practice to somebody who is completely new to this diagnosis, or who is a fresher, or who is like just a beginner, so if you have to explain good laboratory practices, how would you explain to them?
Good laboratory practices, or we usually call it as GLP, is the foundation for every quality laboratory. So, they ensure that every step for sample handling and documentation to equipment maintenance and quality assurance is performed on a standard and traceable manner. So, simply to put it up with GLP helps us produce results that are accurate, reliable, and consistent, while giving clinician complete confidence that the laboratory's reports are good and the laboratory is doing a very good work.
Okay. So, what role do internal quality control and the external quality assessment play while maintaining a good laboratory excellence?
So, internal quality control and external quality assurance are both essential for maintaining laboratory quality, but they serve very different purposes. So, if you see, the internal quality control helps us to monitor the day to day performance of our testing systems before reports are released to the patients. External quality allows us to compare ourselves with our performance with our peer group, other laboratories, and ensures that our results are accurate and consistent over time. So, together they provide confidence that the laboratory is delivering reliable results every day and always.
Okay. So now from this point, our conversation will be like like it would be like something which is behind the picture. So what is behind the picture is any product that has been used in the lab before they are being released in the market. And before they are released, they go through a I would say a crucial validation.
Correct.
So if you have to explain it to somebody that how a validation is done and how much important it is, so how you will explain that?
So, validation is a very essential step before introducing any diagnostic test into routine clinical practices. So, it confirms that the assay performs as expected, or I would say rather claimed by the clinician, and under the laboratory testing, under their lab environments. So, during validation, we assess the parameters such as precision, accuracy, sensitivity, specificity, and reproducibility. That is very important. So, this gives confidence both to the laboratory and the clinician that the test is reliable. Ultimately, the proper validation is about one thing, ensuring every patient receives a result that can be trusted.
Correct. So, how important it is for every diagnostic company to get involved in validation with the help of laboratory expert, not just an institute and get a certificate, and how to take their feedback before they commercialize their product.
So, laboratory experts they understand the practical challenge day to day testing. We know the workflow, the quality requirements, and the expectations of both clinician and the laboratory staff. So, when manufacturer involve the laboratory professionals early, they receive practical feedback
Correct.
that helps make the product more reliable, more user friendly, and suitable for routine use. This collaboration actually benefits everyone, especially the end user, the patient.
Um, on this part only, my question is like Athenese-Dx has been involved in the validation with help of you, and we have taken a lot many feedbacks from you for our product development. So how did this collaboration begin with, and what is your input in this?
So, our interaction actually began through scientific discussions during the evaluation of molecular diagnostic assays. And the objective was to independently assess the analytical performance of the product and provide evidence based feedback before wider implementation, I would say. From the beginning, the discussions were scientific, transparent, and focused on continuous improvement.
So which performance characteristics of the Athenese-Dx molecular products impressed you the most?
So the products demonstrated encouraging analytical performance and good reproducibility was found during evaluation. When what impressed me was equally was the team's willingness to engage in scientific discussions. They were open to understanding laboratory expectations and actively sought feedback throughout the evaluation process. For me, that collaborative approach is just as important as the technical performance of the product itself.
So as you mentioned that the team was very much involved into the scientific discussion. So did can I ask this question? Were they good enough to take the feedback and put it into the product development very seriously?
Yeah, actually, I appreciated the team's openness to feedback. They viewed our observations as opportunities to improve rather than thinking it as a criticism.
Hmm.
So the mindset is important, no, because diagnostic is a continuously evolving field. Companies that listen to laboratories and respond with scientific improvements build greater confidence among the users.
Right. So what kind of products you would like to see with us in future for the molecular assays particularly?
Um, I would like to see more syndromic molecular panels, better antimicrobial resistance detection testing kits, greater automation, and I would say integrated solution that simplify laboratory workflows. At the same time, these innovations should remain affordable and accessible so that quality products, quality molecular diagnostics are could reach the many parts of India, just not large metropolitan centers.
Right. So apart from this, I would just like to have a general feedback of yours that have our team has ever helped you to troubleshoot any complicated case for any of your workflow?
Yes. So, yeah, during the evaluation process, the application and the scientific team work closely with our laboratory whenever our technical support was required. They were very approachable, responsive, and they showed willingness to discuss the scientific queries in detail. Such collaboration makes it very easy for the laboratory to adopt new technologies with greater confidence.
So you have been monitoring or you have watched everything from a very close viewpoint. So what kind of expectation you have from the diagnostic company of especially India for the quality and the validation part?
Indian molecular diagnostic companies have tremendous potential to contribute to healthcare. My expectation is that they continue investing in scientific validation, quality, regulatory compliance, clinical evidence, and strong post market support. So, innovation is important, but long term success comes with innovation if it is backed by quality, consistency, and scientific credibility.
That's so nice of you, ma'am, that you have given an entire sense of the thing for all the industries out there. In the last, I would just like to have your personal touch for all our audience. If somebody is entering new and who is a fresher, so to them, what advice you would like to give?
My advice is very simple, never stop learning. Build a strong foundation in quality systems, understand the clinical significance behind every sample that we receive, every test that we perform, and be open to new technologies. Most importantly, always remember that behind every sample is a patient, depending on your report for the diagnosis or for the treatment, and it should be very accurate. So, scientific integrity, curiosity, and commitment to quality will always be your greatest strength.
So thank you, ma'am, for giving such a valuable insights about every small things from validation to good laboratory practice, about microbiology and how important it is in day-to-day life to keep learning and to keep growing. So I think this podcast will be really valuable to all the audience, from beginner friendly to the people who are very senior and they are well experienced in all this diagnosis. Thank you, ma'am. So thank you, audience, for staying with us till the end of the video. I am very sure that Dr. R. Lakshmi Priya's insights are very useful and they will guide you to the better diagnosis. They will help you to understand the crucial steps about small things like laboratory practices, validations, and how important it is to keep learning and growing in day to day life. So keep watching us until next time. And if you have still not subscribed, then please like the video, subscribe our channel, and follow us for more. Thank you.